11, the 1-2-3 Kid, who briefly held titles with two short-lived partners. However, neither of his first title reigns were very notable. Before he became famous with DX's X-Pac, the 1-2-3 Kid had some odd times in WWE. He and Marty Jannetty formed a team in the late 1993 with some mild success. The high point was beating the Quebecers for the tag team titles, only to lose them back a week later. They split soon after, with Kid going on to have a singles run. However, in early 1995, Kid and Bob Holly were randomly thrown together as a makeshift team in a tournament for the vacant titles. They surprised everyone by going on to win the belt, only to lose them the very next night to the Smoking Guns with an injury angle for the Kid. The suddenness of the split outdid how short the title reigns were for the Kid. In number 10, we have the Allied Powers, who weren't very allied after all. And this seemingly perfect pair fell very quickly. On paper, this team should have worked wonders. After his sadly failed main event run, Lex Luger settled into the mid-card, the upper mid-card at that, whilst Davey Boy Smith was a dependable hand. So, putting them together as a tag team should have really done well. A better choice for tag team champions than others of the time, and given Luger some gold at last. Then, WWE randomly decided to turn Smith heel with absolutely no warning whatsoever. No doubt the sudden end of the team played a part in Luger's decision to jump to WCW a month later. That's about as abrupt an ending as you can get, as there was nothing allied about these two by the end. In number 9, we have the Soul Patrol, who were only a tag team on screen, and internal issues ended up breaking these two apart. It's always funny to look at a tag team that seemed so perfect on screen, only to find out that the real guys hated each other. Rocky Johnson and Tony Atlas do have a major historical landmark to their names, as they are the first African American tag team champions. And they pulled this off, beating the Wild Samoans for the titles in 1983, and managing to hold on to them for 5 months. Behind the scenes, however, the two clashed on everything, from money to billing to Atlas's drug problems. That probably was why their reign ended to Dick Murdoch and Adrian Adonis. The pair would then immediately split, with Atlas leaving WWE and Johnson doing the same shortly thereafter. Their internal divisions caused the Patrol to collapse. In number 8, we have the Brainbusters, who had a very tough ending, and this was such a harsh end to what was a great tag team. In 1988, Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard shocked everybody by jumping from the NWA to the WWE. The newly renamed Brainbusters enjoyed success with Bobby Heenan as manager and held the tag team titles for a few months. The pair had signed a 1-year deal and already decided WWE wasn't a long-term move for them, so they were planning to head back to the NWA. Before that could happen though, Blanchard would fail a drug test, so he was removed from the last shows such as Survivor Series. This one-time amazing team would never reform, thanks to one botched test. In number 7, we have the Powers of Pain, who had a fairly gentle split. After joining WWE in 1988, the Powers of Pain started as faces, but it never really suited them. They thus turned heel, with Mr. Fuji as manager, to feud with Demolition, but they did fail to capture the tag team titles off of Demolition. After a year and a half stuck in the mid-card, Warlord's contract was sold to Slick, while Bobby Heenan purchased the Barbarian. Neither did much in-singles work either, as the Powers were better together than suffering a split. In number 6, we have the US Express, who derailed rather quickly. And despite having 2 tag team title reigns, this team did not last very long. Given that they were real-life brothers-in-law, it's no surprise that Barry Windham and Mike Rotunda made a great tag team. With Lou Albano in their corner, the US Express was a terrific pairing, who claimed the tag team titles in 1984. They would lose them at the first WrestleMania, but regained them a few months later. This team still had a lot of potential even after losing the belts again, but that ended in early 1986 when Windham left for the NWA. Dan Spivey replaced him, only for Rotunda to also leave shortly after. Thus, the Express was derailed faster than anybody expected. In number 5, we have Owen Hart, who couldn't make the new foundation or high energy work, and both early Owen's teams faltered very quickly. It took a while for Owen Hart to find his groove in WWE. His first real push came in 1991, when the Hart Foundation had split up and Jim Neidhart had drifted over to commentary. Neidhart decided to make an in-ring return as he and Owen became the new foundation, most notable for the loud, flashy suspender balloon pants. They weren't too bad with a win at the 1992 Royal Rumble, but before they could go further, Neidhart would fail a drugs test and was fired, which left Owen adrift for quite a little bit. With Neidhart gone, WWE still wanted something for Owen to do, so Coco Beware, who had been drifting aimlessly for years, was paired with him, keeping to the funky outfits to become high energy. They would have one pay-per-view match together, losing to the Headshrinkers at the 1992 Survivor Series. WWE seemingly had little plans for them, and after Owen suffered a knee injury in early 1993, they were disbanded, ending what energy they did have. In at number 4, we have the Quebecers, who didn't last too long, as the long-time friends became rivals. At first, looking like jokes, the Quebecers turned into one of the better heel tag teams of their era. Jacques Rougeau and Carl Ouellet were tossed together dressed like Mounties, with Johnny Polo as their manager. They upset the Steiners for the tag team titles in September of 1993 and would do a good job as champions. They held the belts 3 times, managing to last against some of the best teams of the era. They would finally lose the tag team titles to the Headshrinkers, with the pair arguing over it. After they lost a rematch, the two began feuding with one another, which culminated in what was then Jacques' retirement match. They had later reunions, but it was a sudden end for his once dominant team. In number 3, we have the Colossal Connection, which collapsed very quickly. By late 1989, Andre the Giant was a sad sight in the ring, barely mobile and some lousy feuds robbing him of his mystique. With his in-ring career obviously winding down, WWE decided to give Andre something he never had before, a proper title reign. He and Haku formed the Colossal Connection, beating Demolition for the titles. It was never meant to be a seriously long reign, as the pair held the belt until WrestleMania 6, where they lost them back to Demolition. Bobby Heenan chewed out Andre and slapped him, causing Andre to attack him and Haku. At least the Giant went out of WWE as a fan favourite once more. And at number 1, you have the Can-Am Connection, which was severed very quickly. And this team really should have done big things in the Fed. WWE had major plans for the Can-Am Connection. Rick Martel was already a veteran champion in the AWA and had great skills. Tom Zenk was a good rising star, and together they were a perfect babyface tag team. Fans were hot for them as well, and serious plans were for them to eventually become tag team champions. Before that could happen though, Zenk threw a tantrum over his low pay, demanding a frankly outrageous sum for his position. He quit with no warning to ruin the team. It wasn't all doom and gloom though for Martel, as he would go on to form Strike Force with Tito Santana, managing to become tag team champions, as it started a long road for Zenk burning bridges with various promotions. And there you have it, there's our list. So what did you think? Be sure to let me know in the comments down below. Who do you think are the most innocuous ending to a tag team from the 1990s and 1980s? Be sure to let me know in the comments down below. And if you've enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, click the subscribe button and the notification bell to make sure you never miss out on any of the fun content we produce here at Honor Wrestling Club. And go on, share this video around with your friends as well. They'll enjoy it. However, until next time, I'd just like to thank you for watching and welcome to the club. See ya!